content warning. There is talk of vomiting and stomach fluids everywhere in this video, so if you don't like that, don't watch this video. Oh my goodness. First of all, I'm gonna try and do this before this battery runs out, but I don't know if that's gonna be able to happen. Second of all, I needed a good tripod, and all my tripods are put away, and I just like don't have the energy to get one out. So I have a stack of board games out on top of my desk that I'm balancing this on. But hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Doing a little story time video today because this week the unexpected happened and I got food poisoning and ended up in the ER for 100 million reasons that I ended up in the ER. So I thought I'd do like a little story time while I drink a liquid IV and replenish my electrolytes. So the beginning of the story, I'm trying to think like where do I want to start. So I got food poisoning Monday night. I think I ate a bad sausage from Costco, which I will be throwing all of those away because even talking about it right now, I'm like, what? Barf. It was good at the time, but I ate it. I ate it with some mac and cheese, which I've eaten the mac and cheese a ton of times before, and sure, like the milk could have been bad, the butter could have been bad, whatever. But all of that stuff I've had before and it was fine. This is the first time I had the sausage. So I ate that. And then 2 hours later, I got this really, really bad stomach cramp. And I was like, oh, it's like bedtime. I ate dinner really late at like 7:30. So it was like 9:30, 10 o'clock. And I was like, oh my God, I feel terrible. Like I got really hot. And I just had these terrible, terrible stomach cramps. So I went and I was like, it was like one of those things where I was like, I can't even brush my teeth. I just have to go get in bed. So I went and got in bed. And I was laying there and I was like, okay, it's fine. And then beep, beep, beep on my phone, my low alarm starts going off and I'm like, oh my God. I was like, I cannot eat anything right now. I feel like total garbage. But I was like, I have some regular ginger ale in my fridge for like when I go low, like the mini can. So I was like, I'll drink one of those and maybe that'll help my stomach because that'll be like killing two birds with one stone. But I was like, I cannot eat my normal like Nerds clusters or I will hurl everywhere. LOL. So I drank so my blood sugar, I don't even know what it was at. It was like 66, then it was like 50, and it was like 40, and I was trying so hard to drink this can of ginger ale, like regular ginger ale, but I felt so terrible that I could barely drink it. And as soon as I drank it, I could hear it like in my stomach gurgling around with everything else that was in there. And I was like, okay, at this point I didn't feel like nauseous or anything, but I was like, okay, I'm not feeling like great, but like I think I'm okay. And then my dad was calling me because he's like, hey, I saw you got a low alarm. And I was like, yeah, and I also like don't feel good right now, but I was like, I'm fine. And then I hung up with him. I kept drinking the ginger ale, and then it came upon me to vomit. So sorry if vomiting grosses you out. I'm actually gonna insert this at the beginning of this video, content warning. There is talk of vomiting and stomach fluids everywhere in this video, so if you don't like that, don't watch this video. Anyway, back to the story. So then I went to the bathroom and, got it all out. But my blood sugar was still low, and I was like, shoot. I think I have food poisoning from what I ate for dinner because I felt fine all day on Monday, and it's Friday right now, by the way. So I, had obviously just gotten rid of everything that was inside of my belly, and I was like, shoot, my blood sugar is still low. I still had really bad cramping. I was like, I don't know like what to do right now. And if you guys don't know, I don't really talk about this too much, but I also have adrenal insufficiency, which when you get in a situation like this is where that kind of comes to the forefront. Like usually diabetes is like, hey, like every day it's like diabetes. But when you get really sick like this, adrenal stuff starts to like take over and like you are in trouble basically. So I was like, shoot, I can't keep anything down. Yeah, I was like, okay, I'm in trouble. I can't keep anything in. So I know my body's like going into shock or whatever because like, well, basically when you have adrenal insufficiency is you don't have the adrenaline to like help yourself get through these things. So I had taken a extra little pill, but obviously that came right back. And then on top of all of this, my blood sugar is like 40, 50s, 40s, which I felt fine. And so I was like, I had called my mom at this point because my mom's a doc, and I was like, I was really trying not to call her because it was really late on the East Coast. You know, it's like midnight here, so it's like 3 a.m. there at this point, or like 11. It was really late both places. And I was like, listen, this is what's going on. And, you know, like as I'm talking, I'm still taking care of myself, if you know what I mean, getting rid of stuff. And she was like, yeah, I'm really concerned because like your blood sugar is really low and you can't keep anything down. So I knew the first thing I had to do, which this has happened to me before, where I've gotten food poisoning like 3 times, which for the record, wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. That is the worst. So I basically, the last 2 times, okay, let me back up a second. When you have the adrenal insufficiency, I take like pills in the morning, pills in the afternoon. If you can't keep anything down, there is a shot that you need to take. It's almost like a glucagon. It's like a powder and a liquid, and it's in this little vial, and then you get this big needle, and it's kind of terrifying, but in the moment you're just like, blah, I'm just trying to stay alive right now, literally. So I called my mom. Back to the story. I called my mom and I was like, I think I need to like do the injectable, it's called Solucortef for the adrenal stuff because I'm not keeping anything down. And in the past, I haven't taken that because I just wasn't thinking. I was a lot younger, and that's got me in a lot of trouble at the ER. Like, and one time I ended up in the ICU. It was really bad. So basically the shot is like a stress dose of steroids that you obviously can't vomit back up or like have diarrhea with because it's like in your muscles. So I did the steroid shot, which that was really confusing, especially when you're all alone and you feel like you're dying and there's a lot going on because you have to like push the cap in because it's a powder and a liquid. So you have to push the cap in. I don't want to get it because I'm scared that I'd get a refill since I used mine, and I don't want to get the new one because I'm scared I'm going to accidentally press it and it's going to like mix and I'm going to ruin it. But you have to like, I thought you had to take this cap off, and of course I'm also like a little bit delusional because I'm feeling like absolute asshole. But you have to like press this cap in to release it, and then you like mix it, and then you have to draw it, but you can't have air bubble and blah 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 blah. But the needle is like as big as the vial, so you can't have the needle the whole way in, and I'm also like shaking at this point. And again, while all this is happening, my blood sugar is like 50. So I call my mom, and you know, I'm talking to my mom and my dad on the phone at the same time because they are divorced and live in separate states, and they both knew what was going on, so we were like conference calling this whole night. And I was like, yeah, I gave the stress dose, and I was also shaking at this point. I thought I had a fever, but I was checking my temp the entire time, and it was like 97. I think I'm immune to fevers. Prone to fevers, that's not what I want to say. I never get fevers, but I was shaking and I was shivering this whole time. And what was I gonna say? Basically, I was like, I need to go to the ER, and my mom was like, yeah, I think you gotta go to the ER. And we were like, I don't know how to get there. I couldn't drive myself because, mind you, my blood sugar's low. It's also like 1 a.m. and I live in Arizona, way far away from all my family, so like no one could come pick me up. So what did I do? I called 911 and took an ambulance ride to the ER, which I think, like, when I called them, as I was like, listen, I'm a type 1 diabetic, I'm like, can't keep anything down right now, I also have adrenal insufficiency, because the problem with adrenal insufficiency is like no one knows about it, and it's like one of the major things, like I said earlier, when you get sick like this that you have to like deal with. So I was like on the phone, I was like, I have adrenal insufficiency, but I think they really only heard like type 1 diabetes and low blood sugar. So the paramedics showed up, they were able to like get into my complex, find my apartment. Which that's the other thing, is it's like I can't call an Uber because no one knows how to get back to where I live. And when I'm fully feeling great, is I call an Uber and I go wait on the street, which I was not about to do when I was feeling like this. Also, it's like 1:30 in the morning and there's javelinas outside. So I was like, no. So we called an ambulance, and when they came, I think they thought I was gonna be like not with it, but I was like, mentally I was there, right? I was like, I'm good. I was trying to crack jokes with them because that's how I cope in times of like whatever. So like they obviously have white sterile gloves, and I was like, I didn't know this was white glove service. None of them found it funny. I still think my joke is funny, but I was just trying to like lighten the mood a little bit. But they took me to the ER like 10 minutes away, which I had never been to. Oh no, the battery's running out. Let me plug you in, hold on. I got this weird battery thing that I plug because I was like, oh, I can't reach a wall. And I really want to keep telling with this story time right now, so I'm charging while I'm talking. Anyway, which is kind of annoying because I was keeping track of my time on my other video, but it's fine. So, I called 911 and I was like, told them everything. And then when the ambulance came, I think they thought I was gonna be like unconscious and out of it. And I was like, hey, like, I just need like a supervised ride to the ER. I didn't say that, but I was like, in my head, I was like, I just need to get to the ER because I was like, I need fluids. I need them to like check me all out. Even though I was like, my ear is making a weird noise. Even though I was like, I know this is food poisoning. Because it came on so fast. Because the ER doc was like, well, it could be a stomach bug, but if it came on like 1 to 2 hours after you ate, it's food poisoning. I was like, yep, that was it. So I got to the ER when I forgot the most craziest thing that happened during this whole thing. So when towards the point where I was getting like, I need to call an ambulance, this was after I took the steroid injection, is my Dexcom failed in the middle of all of this. So like my parents couldn't see it. I obviously couldn't see it. I was like, nah, like I don't want to change my Dexcom right now. I was like in bed, half asleep, half not asleep, shaking like my life depended on it. Like I was not okay. And my Dexcom's like, Dexcom failed. I was like, ugh. I think I kind of may have know what happened in the end, but my mom was like, whatever you do before you go to the ER, you gotta put a new Dexcom in, which I was like, ugh, okay, fine. So I managed to do that. This is my sick Dexcom. Get it? Right before they came, I was just like, I had like cleaned it, put it in, and that was it. I don't even know if I did my whole like thing that I normally do. There's a hair over here. Oh, it's like stuck in my Dexcom. That's kind of gross. But my Dexcom failed in the middle of it, which I'm wondering, and I want to ask my endo about this next time I see him, is, so I did the steroid shot in my legs, but I was like, it might have been so much like sudden steroids for your body that it, because it was right after that it failed, that it just like kerplunked my Dexcom out. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But anyway, the ambulance came, they took me to the ER, and when they were driving, and again, I'm like conscious and I'm aware, even though I'm like half asleep and I'm trying to like close my eyes. They were like, yeah, like she has type 1 diabetes, like low blood sugar, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, please tell them I also have adrenal insufficiency, because that's like pretty much why I'm going to the ER. And because I have food poisoning, and they like weren't saying anything. So I'm still fine. And in my head, I'm like, okay, I know I'm good because I took the steroid, but I'm like still like, they need to be aware of this because this is like not something you mess around with when you're this sick. So I got to the ER and I got all checked in, and they were like, yeah, you had no color in your face. They did blood work. They were like, you look a little dehydrated. Your blood work basically shows that you're dehydrated, so we're going to give you some fluids. Again, they were like, so you have type 1 diabetes and you're like, your blood sugar's low. And I was like, yeah, I have type 1 diabetes and my blood sugar's low, but I was like, I also have adrenal insufficiency, which is the real thing that I said it like probably 5 times, as I was like, that's what I'm primarily concerned about right now, is my adrenal stuff. Also, if you can see my eye, I threw up so hard I popped a blood vessel. So that tells you how violently ill I was. I think I popped one in this eye too, but I think it's like more in the back because there is like blood down there, but it's like behind my eye. So finally the ER doc, I was like, I have adrenal insufficiency, and he like kind of turned, and I was like, yeah. I was like, can you pay attention to that? He was like, oh, okay. So I was glad I like said something like 4 or 5 times, because I was like, I can't let this go. Like they have to know and pay attention to this. So he was like, okay, I just want to make, like, you did the steroid injection, and they were trying to give me apple juice because my blood sugar was low, which they gave me a Transcend gel, shout out to Transcend, in the ambulance, which I ate because I was like, I do need to get this up. But I was like, again, feeling fine. Like I was like, I'm good. And my Dexcom was pretty accurate because I did a finger poke in the middle of all of this, I think, on my meter. I actually don't even remember if I did, but I'm pretty sure it said 60. My Dexcom said like 50 or something, 55. So it was all accurate. But they were like, you need to like drink juice. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna drink juice, because in my head, I'm like, okay, I took this steroid shot. I'm just gonna make my blood sugar go up, which was kind of like a good thing. But I was like, I'm not gonna like do what you want me to do and drink all this juice, because then my blood sugar is gonna go super high like later, and I'm gonna have trouble getting it down, and I already feel like garbage. So I was like sipping really gingerly, I don't know what the word is, really not a lot at a time on this juice. And the nurse was even like, you're not drinking a lot. I was like, yeah, I know. Because in my head, I have this whole calculation of like, if I, like, I'm already on my way up blood sugar wise, right? So I don't need to drink a ton of juice and like make it go even higher, which I actually in the end did the perfect correct thing, because throughout my stay in the hospital, is my blood sugar was like maxed out at 120. So I was like, I know what I'm doing. But I, you know, when I got there, I told him, I was like, I have a pump. It's been off this whole time, because obviously my tandem pump saw that my blood sugar was low. So I was like, I haven't had insulin in like hours because my blood sugar's been low. So they kind of let me like they didn't argue with me on that and whatever. They just were like, you need to drink juice. And I was like, no, I don't. I'm fine. And they kept doing finger pokes and comparing it to my Dexcom. And my Dexcom was only like a couple off. And that was my new Dexcom that I put on, which again, was not hooking up to my phone the whole time I was in the hospital. And then when I got home, it like magically appeared, but it was hooked up to my pump the whole time, which I was like, if it's hooked up to that, then I don't care. Because I was like, as long as my pump is reading it and like giving me more or less, you know, doing the whole basal IQ, control IQ thing, I'm good. So, you know, they took blood work, like I was kind of saying before, and they were like, yeah, you basically are dehydrated, so we're going to give you some fluids, which I was like, that's just what I need. I was like, I basically need like supervision right now because of the adrenal stuff and just being so sick. So I got one bag of fluid, and then they're like, let's do like another test and see if you have ketones. Turns out I did have ketones, which then I was really glad. At first I was like, did I really need to come to the hospital for this? But when they came back and were like, yeah, you have ketones, we're gonna give you another bag to like flush it out. So I was like, okay, now I feel really good that I came to the hospital and like I made the right decision. Because, you know, that can go to diabetic ketoacidosis, which has happened to me before in the whole same situation when I had food poisoning, which I didn't want. I need a little drink break because I feel like I'm talking so much. Well, because I am. At that point, they were like, okay, you're good to go. And I went to the hospital at like 1:30 in the morning. And then I took an Uber home at 6 a.m. from the hospital. But, yeah. That was a little bit of a scary call, and I was like, wow, I live really far from family now, which makes me like a little nervous about living all the way out here, which I don't know, that was just a lot, even though I do live far also from like friends and stuff. They all live south of me, so I've been wanting to move when my lease is up here anyway, more south to like experience another part of the valley, but being that far and like not being able to be like, hey, can you come take me to the hospital? I was like, ugh. Even though the ambulance came, but like, I don't want to have to, God forbid I get food poisoning again, which, I mean, that was the third time. It's not, like, I'm never getting it. I don't know. It just makes me think about a lot, but I'm really grateful to, you know, first of all, my mom and dad, which poor people didn't get any sleep the other night. Second of all, I am slowly recovering. And so I'm like, go body, like you're doing good. You're 30 years old now and you're still coming back from things like this in like a pretty timely manner. It's Friday now. I got really sick basically Tuesday night, or early Tuesday morning. And I'm like still a little bit like, blah. My whole side, like my abdominal, everywhere down there, like my muscles all hurt. And yeah, that was about as violently ill I feel as you can get. But I made it through. And I'm here to tell the story and make a YouTube video of this now. I did take a selfie in the hospital because while I was laying there, like half asleep, half not asleep, so I was like, oh, I think I'll make a story time video on this month. Like, that's when I knew I was starting to feel better, is when I was thinking about like other stuff. But yeah, I came home from the hospital and I basically slept all day. And then that night I slept for 12 hours. And then I've just been slowly getting back to it. I haven't really gone out and done anything. I also have been slowly eating regular food, but I'm a little terrified. And I think, like I said at the beginning of this video, I need to go through my refrigerator and throw out all the sausages that I bought from Costco, which is upsetting because they were really good, but ugh, I can't do it ever again. Anyway, I think this video is gonna be like 20 minutes long, so I'm gonna stop now. But I just want to share that little story with you, a little scary story, but hey, I survived, here to tell the tale. Hopefully something like that doesn't happen again. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. I don't know, all the like superstitious stuff you can do. But that's it for this video. Let me know if you've ever had food poisoning, because some people haven't had it and some people have, and they just know it's so bad. It's so bad. Anyway, I will see you guys in my next video in October. See you next month. Bye.